Good morning, class. Today we will discuss exercise 3.3 of understanding. Okay, the first question. Given a parallelogram ABCD, complete each statement along with the definition or property used. Now the first question, first part, AD is equal to. We all know that in the parallelogram the opposite side are parallel and equal. So AD will be equal to BC because opposite sides of the parallelogram are equal. If we come to the second part, angle DCP. Now we all know that in the parallelogram the opposite angles are equal. So this angle DCB will be equal to the opposite angle, that is equal to angle DAB. The property being used is the opposite angles of the parallelogram are equal. Now the next, OC. Now OC will obviously be equal to AO. Why? Because the property of the parallelogram is the diagonals bisect each other. So OC will be equal to OA. Diagonals bisect each other. Now fourth part, the measure of angle DAB plus measure of angle CDA. Now we all know that DC and AB are the parallel lines. If we add the interior angles of the parallel lines, then it will be equal to 180 degree. So measure of angle DAB plus CDA will be equal to 180 degree. Okay, so the first question, AD is equal to BC because the opposite sides of the parallelogram are equal. The second part, DCB will be equal to DAB because the opposite angles of the parallelogram are equal. OC will be equal to OA because the diagonals bisect each other, and the measure of angle DAB plus CDA will be equal to 180 degree because CD and AB are the parallel lines, the interior angles of the parallelogram. If we add the interior angles, then the sum is equal to 180 degree. Now coming to the second question. In the second question, a parallelogram is given and we have to find the value of x, y and z. Now first of all, angle B is given to us as 100 degree. We all know that the opposite angles are equal in the parallelogram. Opposite angles are equal. So opposite angle of angle B is equal to angle D. So angle D will be equal to 100 degree. Now angle B and angle C are the interior angles. So angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree because AB and DC are the parallel lines and CB being the transversal, I can say that the interior angles, the sum of the interior angles is equal to 180 degree. So angle B plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. So angle C, which is marked as X, is equal to 180 minus angle B, that is 180 minus 100, that is equal to 80 degree. Okay, coming to the angle Z, we know that the opposite angles are equal. So angle C will be equal to angle A. That means X will be equal to Z. So the measure of Z will also be equal to 80 degree. Now we get the value of X as 80 degree, Z is 80 degree and Y which is marked as D. So Y is equal to 100 degree. Coming to the second part. In the second question, again we have to find the value of X, Y and Z. Now this is a parallelogram, so I can say 50 plus Y is equal to 180 degree. So to get the value of Y, I can say 180 degree minus 50 degree, that is equal to 130 degree. So measure of this angle Y is equal to 180 degree. Now in the parallelogram, opposite angles are equal, so I can say Y is equal to X is also equal to 130 degree. Now coming to the Z, I can say that if these, I can mark it A, B, C and D. If it is a parallelogram, then AD will be parallel to BC. Now if we see the angles, this angle and this angle, these are the corresponding angles. So I can say that X will also be equal to Z, that will be equal to 130 degree. So the measure of X, Y and Z are 130 degree. Okay, in the third part, now it is clearly visible in the question that the value of X will be equal to 90 degree. This angle will be 90 degree. Again 90 plus X is equal to 180 degree. So the angle X will be equal to 180 minus 90, that is equal to 90 degree. Now X is 90. If we consider this triangle A, B and C, the sum of all the angles of the triangle ABC is equal to 180 degree. So 90 degree, that is angle B, plus Y plus 30 degree is equal to 180 degree. I can say Y plus 120 degree is equal to 180 degree. So the value of angle Y is 180 minus 120, that is equal to 60 degree. Now coming to the Z, the value of angle Z, if I say this line is AC and this line suppose it is DE. Now AC is parallel to DE, so I can say Y and Z are the alternate angles. So Y will be equal to Z because they are the alternate angles. So the measure of Z will also be equal to 60 degree. So X is equal to 90 degree and YZ is equal to 60 degree. Now coming to the fourth part. In the fourth part we have to find the measure of X, Y and Z. I can say that these lines are parallel. I can mark that A, B, C, D. AB is parallel to CD. So again 80 and Z are the corresponding angles. So 80 degree is equal to Z. So the value of Z is 80 degree because they are the corresponding angles. Now if I have to find the value of Y, Y will also be equal to 80 degree. Opposite angles of the parallelogram are equal. Opposite angles are equal in a parallelogram. Now coming to the value of X, if I have to find the value of X, I can say the X plus 80 degree is equal to 180 degree. So the value of X will be equal to 180 degree minus 80 degree, that is equal to 100 degree. Okay, the fifth part. Now in this question, the value of Y will be equal to 112 degree because they are the opposite angles of a parallelogram. Now I can say that if I do the naming A, B, C and D, this part will be equal to 40 degree because they are the alternate angles. ED is parallel to BC, so I can say angle DBC is equal to 40 degree. Now I can say 112 degree plus 40 degree plus X is equal to 180 degree. So the value of X, 152 degree plus X is equal to 180 degree. So X will be equal to 180 minus 152, that is equal to 28 degree. Now I can say X will be equal to Z as they are the alternate angles. So the value of Z will also be equal to 28 degree as they are alternate angles. So the measure of X, Y and Z, X is equal to 28 degree, Y is 112 and Z, coming to Z, Z will be equal to X, that is 28 degree. Now the third question, can a quadrilateral ABCD be a parallelogram if first part angle B and plus angle D is equal to 180 degree? It is not necessary. It is not necessary that if angle B and angle D sum is 180 degree, it is not necessary that it is a parallelogram. It can be a parallelogram. Come to the second part, AD. If I construct the parallelogram, ABCD. ABCD is a parallelogram. AB is given as 8 cm and DC is equal to again 8 cm. AD is given as 4 and BC is 4.4. It cannot be a parallelogram because in the parallelogram opposite sides are equal, but here AD is not equal to BC, so it is not a parallelogram. Okay, come to the third part. Again in the third part, if I construct the parallelogram ABCD, it is given as angle A is 70 degree and angle C is given as 65 degree. But in the parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. Angle A is not equal to angle C, so it is not a parallelogram. Come to the fourth question, draw a rough figure of quadrilateral that is not a parallelogram but has exactly two opposite angles of equal measure. I can say that the example can be a kite. In a kite, it is not a parallelogram but exactly two angles are of equal measure. In the kite, these two sides are equal and these two sides are equal. That means ABCD is a kite. So AB is equal to AD and DC is equal to BC. So this is an example of quadrilateral that is not a parallelogram, but it is having exactly two opposite angles of equal measure. Now coming to the fifth question, the measure of two adjacent angles of parallelogram are in the ratio of 3:2. Find the measure of each angles of the parallelogram. I can say that the adjacent angles are 3x and 2x. Now they are adjacent angles, so I can say 3x plus 2x is equal to 180 degree. That means 5x is equal to 180 degree. The value of x will be 180 upon 5, that is equal to 36 degree. So I can say one angle will be equal to 3x, that is equal to 3 into 36 degree, that will be equal to 108 degree, and the other angle, that is 2x, that will be equal to 2 into 36 degree, that is equal to 72 degree. Now we all know that the opposite angles of the parallelogram are equal. So all the angles will be 108 degree, 72 degree, again 108 degree and 72 degree. These are the measures of four angles of the parallelogram. Okay, thank you all of you.